Hello, my friends, ladies, and jelly spoons. How are we doing? Today, I'm really excited. We have a guest that I am super excited, and just the way the universe ends up working sometimes is really interesting because I want to introduce him a little bit to you guys first, just in case you don't know who Adam RAGUSEA is. He is a food YouTuber, but he's much more than that. He is at his core someone who loves to learn, explore. He's like a journalist background wise. I mean, he does music, he does cooking, he likes, traveling, exploring, culture, all sorts of facets of what it is to be human, and also kind of peeling back the mystery and the stories that are there. And the way he does his food content is very much the way I aspire someday to come off as similar with my fish content. I wanted to be more than a fish YouTuber or an aquarium YouTuber, and more of almost like, sociology, history, science that's cutting edge, science that's how did we get here? And there's always so many interesting little facets and little nuggets and trivia that you pull up. And when your whole life is about learning and connecting these disparate things, for instance, I can't tell you how many times on his channel, stuff that we're talking about on FISHTORY has come up. Stuff like anthocyanins and how it's rare to have blue pigment, and how pH alters blue pigment from kind of a reddish purple color all the way to a blue to a bluish kind of purple color. It's absolutely fascinating, that pH can change that, and that blue is actually iridophores. We're not going to go into all the science of any of this right now, but he had a recent video about hard water and how hard water changes the dynamics of bread. And as a shrimp keepers, as fish keepers, hard water plays a immensely important role in understanding. Look at where the cat is. The cat should not be up there. I'm just going to throw that out there. Before anything gets too crazy, let me grab her down from there, and then we will invite Adam on. She is Suni. Come on, come down. Are you going to just stare? Okay. All right. Upstaging us yet again. Sorry, we'll have to work on that one in the future, Kat. Stop upstaging us. Well, without further ado, I've yammered enough. Let's bring on our friend, Adam. All right. Adam, hello.
Alexander Williamson, as I live and breathe.
Yes, I hope that's what that means, that you're doing well, living, breathing, getting along.
Indeed.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
Well, welcome to FISHTORY. Yeah, I have to say, every time I talk to you, I'm a little starstruck, and then we get into a conversation, and I'm like, kind of right in there on the like nerdy, like, oh, okay, we have a lot of stuff just to chat about. So, I really appreciate you coming on, and I know we have a lot of viewers that are also fans of your content, and I think hopefully I've maybe fostered something semi-similar in a much smaller scale and a much smaller hobby. That's kind of what you do with the food world. And when I found out, when you and I were talking, and I don't remember if I commented and you saw that and reached out, or if you were already aware of my channel. I don't know how did that go? Did you find me, or did you see a comment that I left and then like look at like who's this?
Oh no, I've just watched you for years.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
You just okay. So
first time, long time, man.
Okay, I wasn't 100% sure on that, but
yeah.
I now that I hear that, well, thank you for one, and we have a lot of viewers in the stream right now, of course, too, that are long time. So I mean, I've been floating around here now 8 or 9 years, and then professionally, if you want to call it that, or putting my full-time effort into it, about 5 or 6 years, really. With kind of COVID was kind of the marker for me. how long have you been at it, just to give people kind of a sense, like when did you kind of jump in all feet, you know, completely submersed into the world of YouTube and podcast type stuff?
Early 2019 is when a like pizza making video that I had made just as like a Adam needs to learn how to edit video project, basically.
Okay.
You know, I had that I had thrown onto my YouTube channel, which I just had as a place to sort of store, you know, videos for various purposes, right?
Sure. Yeah. That's what mine was too.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like, fireworks on the 4th of July.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this pizza making video that I just made for practice went kind of randomly viral in early 2019, and things just sort of moved rapidly from there. You know, it was a matter of a few months before I realized that okay, I need to quit my job.
Yeah. Wow.
Unfortunately, I had just signed my contract to teach the next academic year, but they were cool. They let me go mid-year, but that one semester where I was trying to like nurture this new thing, and then also trying to like do my job and not totally embarrass myself there,
Right.
only partially embarrass myself there. And at the same time, my children were very, very, very young, and that was like the hardest time ever.
Oh yeah.
But you know, got through it, and then COVID happened immediately after that, which, you know, for all of the horrors that it visited upon the world, was like the best thing in the world for me.
100%. Yeah.
I don't want to go outside and talk to anyone. You know, there was this moment when like the sponsors that my agent Colin, that I've been with since the beginning, there was a moment when COVID started, when we lost some sponsors and we got scared, and we took maybe a couple of deals that maybe we wouldn't normally have taken. But then like really quickly, it suddenly like became apparent that this was going to be a massive windfall for schmucks like me.
Right. Yeah.
Because of all of these direct to consumer businesses that were going to be exactly the thing that consumers wanted in a world where you can't go to the store.
Totally. I mean, that was a wild time, because there was the adpocalypse, if people know the YouTube world, and then it went into kind of the opposite, which like a gold rush for those who stuck it out through that phase.
Legit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so then that becomes sustainable. And so, I mean, usually you're focused on food, but you're not just focused on the food. You talk about the chemistry, you talk about the, like, if there's ethnobotany involved that you dig up, or if there's, you know, so obviously you bring in your background, and you said you were teaching when you kind of came into YouTube. So what is your background, just for folks who aren't familiar?
I was on the journalism faculty at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
I had been there for about 4 years. I had come from my journalism background had mostly been in public radio, or the people might know it as like the NPR world.
Oh, that's why I like your stuff. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Since a kid, that's what I always just have on in the background.
Indeed, when you go into those jobs, they surgically fit you for your new pipes.
Yeah,
and you just sound like this for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you're just calm and cool and collective, and just little monotone.
Exactly, that's me. So I had done that for a number of years all over the country at various levels, and then before that I was in music school.
Wow. Okay. And I've seen, so if folks aren't necessarily such fanboys as they may not know that you retired, and yet you're still making more content than many YouTubers.
I'm semi-retired.
Well, okay, yeah. You've taken it. You've not made it the driving factor of every day of your life, essentially. Ideally, right? Is that?
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's at this point everything is gravy. You know, I'm not trying to grow.
Gotcha.
I'm indeed trying to shrink.
And so, as you've done that, we've seen this fascinating new side of you that is like I'm sure every guy with lots of hobbies that likes learning, who is a self teaching, like who's anybody who likes learning throughout their whole life, who's kind of a polymath, if you will, or like, you know, all of a sudden, you know, we start seeing from you, wait, like I knew he liked food, and I always liked to show good eats.
Sure.
I always liked, you know, kind of these history, like there's a newer channel of the history of food or eating history, I think dining with history, I forget the exact name of it, but I've always loved things that combine like multidisciplinary learning. And then all of a sudden, like I wasn't expecting it, but something links up from my favorite hobbies with something that's completely disparate to anything I was learning about. And for me, that's like a little dopamine kick in my brain that's like better than anything else, like, you know, organic in life. Like that's the best high there is in life for me. Like that's what fuels my day and my excitement in life.
You know what I think that is, Alex? I think that is generalist brain.
Sure.
It's just a particular cognitive capacity that tends to be strong amongst people who end up becoming generalists within various disciplines. So I think that there's like a kind of person who, what their best cognitive ability is to make connections across disciplines. And to be able to look at the whole board, right? And
what does it all mean?
Right, exactly. And that kind of person, the person who has that kind of brain, tends to be good at being on TV. You know, which is all we're doing here, right? Like, you know, those are your public intellectuals, right? You know,
citizen scientist explainers, I guess, you know,
right.
whatever they call it, this crowd of us these days.
Yeah, and I think that, and that's just what naturally that's what you are, and that's what I am. That's the kind of guy that we are. And that's it's generally a good guy to be. It's a good kind of guy to be, though it comes with a number of hazards.
Jack of what is it? Jack of all, master
trades,
of none.
master of none. Yeah, exactly. It really lends itself to hubris, right? You know, that would be exemplified. Like, who would be a good example of this kind of problem? Like a Peter Zion. I don't know if you ever watched that guy. You know, smart guy with a lot to offer, but overconfident.
You know, that's always been like, you know, like Richard Dawkins. Like I love evolution. I love the idea of memetics, but the guy's such an asshole, like about things that like, but he's brilliant. So at the same time, like I watch and I like buy and read books, and it's just like, but I got to keep it at arm's distance. And I mean,
I just think that when you're particularly good at seeing the whole board, it can naturally lend you to kind of believing that you are above everyone else. And that you know their field better than they do, when in fact you don't. What you're good at is seeing how their field connects to this thing, into that thing, into that thing, right?
That's a very good point.
You know, and so you got to check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. And I've gotten better at that over the course of my YouTubing career, I feel.
You know,
and I feel like you've always been great at it.
Oh, well,
your epistemic humility is always on point.
Well, you know, my goal is that I maybe having low self-worth as a kid and, you know, throughout high school and stuff, maybe it lends itself to like correcting some of the influence that could have, you know, come from. And I feel like, okay, well, I'm competent enough to hold my own, and I will when I need to. But I mean, I'll even back off on things just to be civil and nice to a certain degree. But I have a breaking point, obviously, like everyone does. But, you know, it's...
I would love to see you just go ape shit on someone. I bet that's terrifying.
It's rare. It almost happened during one infamous incident, but I tried to keep a nice. Yeah, it's still unedited on the channel if anybody wants to see it. But I think everyone's probably
kept
seen
your
it.
cool there. I mean, because that was a just like walk away and don't make any sudden movements.
Right. Yeah.
Homer Simpson retreating into the
The
bush.
bush. Yeah.
Kind of situation that you were in the time that you're mentioning.
Yeah.
But I bet when when you finally go rip shit on someone, I bet that's great.
It would really take a lot, as long as people mean well. The other thing is, I am very aware that, I like to, maybe I name drop too much or I drop in facts too much. That's something that, like, I did when I was young, but I look at people like Malcolm Gladwell that, like, I really enjoy their thoughts. And then like, you can see how society and culture and politics changes over time. Like for a while, Freakonomics was the coolest thing ever, and Stephen Levitt and all this. And now it's kind of like, oh, that was all very problematic, is like kind of the new take on all of that. And so as I've watched these things come and go, and I just heard from my parents and my grandparents, for that matter, my grandfather really helped raise me. And he was a pharmacist, a botanist, a drill sergeant, and a milkman. Like, very odd things to end up being throughout his life, and kind of different, but very humble about all of it the entire time. He was at Normandy Beach, on Omaha Beach during World War II. So he also was a veteran and saw some really hard, nasty things, but he had a big influence on me, and he was definitely a generalist. And, once you think you know something and you start kind of yammering on and you get into the room with the big boys that actually know the things, it's very quick that you realize you're out of your depth and breadth of what you thought you knew.
Legit.
And so, the thing that I try to decipher, and maybe I'd love to know how you deal with this, but if you're reading about something like, and I forget the name already. I have a problem the last 7 years, ever since I had a head injury, where I forget words and then they'll come to me. But I mean, everyone has that problem, but I have it frequently. But the name of the reaction that occurs when caramelization and
Maillard?
Like, yes, thank you. Yeah. So the Maillard reaction, like reading about the scientific, inner workings of that, for instance. You've explained that in several occasions on your channel. That's very interesting and very, like, why the different flavors come out, things like that. But part of what I find the most difficult, or maybe the most fun too, is you read these, you learn the kind of speak of whether it's chefs or academics or aquarius clubs or whatever it may be. But there's kind of like a lingo and a format to the way every academic or every niche hobby, science, whether you're an electrician or a plumber, like in the trades, there's a way of doing things. And there's these inside jokes and there's these subtexts and things. And all that gets lost by anyone who isn't fluent in those languages. And so I've always found it interesting to kind of try and highlight not just the important facts and then get out of their world, but to strip away some of the subtext and to kind of talk about on the show, for instance, like, even though it's not about fish really, but like, say, so there is this biologist and this biologist, and this guy was a young earth creationist, and this guy was this, and they like literally had a duel where they shot at each other with pistols. Like, to me, that's fascinating, but it's not really about fish. And yet, that's a story that sometimes.
But it is.
But it is, yeah.
It's part of the broader story that you're telling. It's just.
Yeah. But to me, that
nested vignette.
Yeah, that's the interesting stuff. But I mean, how do you tease out, or how do you search out those fascinating little crumbs that you find? You just do a lot of research, or do you have like a method to your the way you kind of come up with these things when
Yeah, I mean,
you
it's
do
never
it.
been hard for me. You just read a lot, and
Yeah.
if you're interested in, if you're actually interested in the thing that you're writing about, you're gonna find stuff. Like it's,
yeah.
you know, and maybe it's, you know, from having been, you know, a working media creator for a lot of years and being someone who, you know, long before everyone was on the internet and thinking about, you know, optimizing their content or whatever, you know,
Right.
I've been
Yeah.
in that world for way longer than most of y'all, right?
Yeah.
And so, oh, I lost my train of thought. What were we just saying?
Well, kind of coming up with facts and delivering the little
Oh, sure,
grains
exactly.
of
So anyway, so having been, you know, oh God, this is, for lack of a less ponderous way to say it, having been a professional storyteller,
yeah.
yeah, for like a long time, you know, yes, I have an eye for like what's gonna make a cool little anecdote, you know,
Yeah.
what's a fun little story with a beginning, a middle, and end that I can tell on, you know, it can be a nice
Within.
little sidebar on a way to talking about this thing. So yeah, I mean, I think I guess I developed an eye for that, but really that's just kind of stuff is everywhere, because
Right.
and their lives necessarily unfold in the form of a narrative, because all a narrative is a sequence of events in chronological order, which everyone's life is.
Sure. Yeah. You know, I really appreciate that. And sometimes I feel like I intellectualize certain aspects of YouTube and what I'm doing. And I totally missed the boat on other things. And so I want to thank you for you being like, hey, Alex, maybe you should try like shortening your intro a little bit, because everybody knows who you are at this point. They clicked on your channel, they get it. And like, so as much as like you tell me that, I still like have this like knee jerk, like, oh, I'm going to put it in there like the way I did. But
No,
it
dude,
really
I just
means a
think
lot to
I
me,
think you
though.
should just do your thing though. Like who
But it does
we
mean a
no
lot to
one
me
wants to live
to
in a fully optimized world. That would suck, you know.
right.
The people who are here right now are here because they like your whole vibe. They like, you know, just
Sure.
looking at the cat about to get a
Yeah.
betta or whatever, you
Right.
know.
I was like,
Like,
this cat is being the worst she behaved that she's been in like weeks. She must like know that you're some real important friend of
yeah, sure.
mine.
But on that said, now that we are 22 minutes into the program,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, we should like do some like fish talk or
Fish talk.
something
Yes.
for your people who would be
Yes.
expecting that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100%. And
Tank talk.
that's where, so now that folks kind of know you, if they didn't know you already, and because you know we have a lot of fish people that never shall leave the corner of fish in the internet, you know, and then we have plenty of people who roam all over on the internet too, at their hobbies. But
Huh?
so when did you get into fish? I mean, when did this happen? And like where are you in your journeys? Just so folks kind of can understand. Like, obviously, you're a smart person who, when you know science, biology, you know, kind of context, all this stuff, it really does help put all the pieces together of any hobby, like whether
Sure.
it's model trains or this, you know.
I mean, I think like probably almost everyone here right now, I just have that particular fascination with aquatic life,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
That one gene that everyone
Yeah.
here has, and that like no one else in our life has. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can't talk about this shit with anyone
Right.
else.
Yeah, totally.
You had to go on the internet to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I've
Yeah.
always had that. I grew up out in the woods, you know, really rural life. So in some place with a pond.
Is that Georgia?
What's that? No, this was in central Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So you know, out on some land where there were vernal ponds that were awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then it was an area that had been mined for clay from a cosmetics company.
Oh,
And
like that.
so there was the biggest pond was an old clay mine, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And you know what clay would do to the bottom of a pond, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that was a really cool ecosystem. The pH must have been incredibly low because of all the leaf litter And so that somewhat limited what could thrive there.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that like this was after I'd left the house. My dad had tried putting in some koi.
Were there fairy shrimp and stuff in there? Do you remember as a kid? Like little, like little trilobites or little.
Sure. Oh yeah. I mean, and endless, almost microbial life, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots
Okay.
and lots of snails, lots of frogs.
Yeah.
But nothing in the way of fish.
Fish. Yeah.
But yeah, like my dad threw some koi in there. That ended up absolutely thriving. And this is a pond that freezes over fully. We used to ice skate on it,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
They disappear under the ice for months, and they come back, and they're, I've gone, they've since sold that house, and I have like snuck out there to check it out, and you'll see one, and it's like like
Goliath koi,
big suckers.
Yeah.
So those are great. And my dad had my dad started with a reef tank, that I was very little for that. So I don't remember much. I do remember.
Oh, okay. So there were aquariums in the household.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I remember my dad, he had me in tow when he was doing some errands, and he went to the fish store and bought this beautiful blue and yellow angelfish. Marine angelfish. Freshwater angels are trash. Anyways, and I just remember that it was $100, and this would have been like 1990 or something. So,
sure.
It was a lot of money. And I just remember him telling me not to tell my mom.
Yeah.
like serious, like he was serious about it.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of noticing that. But I think that, I don't know, I think it got away from him. I mean, reefing is incredibly.
It's a next level kind of thing.
It's a whole thing, right?
Especially back then. I mean, like literally there were books published after 90 that say, oh, it's not a bad idea to urinate in a cup and add that to your reef tank when you're cycling it, like for the ammonia. It's like,
at the same time, though, it's like
there's always been that kind of.
In a way, it was easier if you'd not yet heard the good word about CO2, right?
100%.
Because you can do a pretty awesome saltwater tank without anything like that, right?
Yeah.
So my dad transitioned over to a planted freshwater tank, which I remember is looking, okay, but like, it's that sort of permanently a little bit sickly look that pretty much all no CO2 tanks have.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your tanks, because you're you.
A lot of them do. I mean, I'll be the first to say it. Like when I went to the hospital last summer, that was the proving ground for like, are my tanks just dingy because I'm lazy, or did I actually set these up correctly so that like the fish can, I selected the fish properly, and the food and the algae and the microbiome. And there were one or two where I messed up for sure. But out of 32, 30 tanks were still up and running. And like, that was the biggest victory I had of that whole like traumatic, month of my life, was coming home and knowing that like my wife just did 2 days of a pinch in each tank. And in 2 weeks, that's it, and that they survived. And so it made me feel a little less like, because I feel like, as we were saying earlier, when you're a generalist, the hubris can sneak in, but also the like imposter syndrome can sneak in, where you're like, am I saying the right thing? Because sometimes you really believe like, okay, I'm gonna get into something a little controversial, but it won't be for you. It'll be for me, which is like Father Fish. He's someone that I was friends with before the lockdown. He and I used to banter back and forth. We had way different views about some things, but we agreed on like nature being an amazing thing and us wanting to include it in our lives. Well, now we've kind of split ways on our actual methodologies and what we say or approve of or whatnot. But
Hold on, no. You and Father Fish have not split. He has split from everyone. Okay.
okay, true.
And I have
So you've witnessed that then,
actually in published work said nice things about Father Fish myself
right?
a while ago, and I think I'll take this opportunity to kind of retract those. I don't think we need to get into a whole thing.
No.
But I would say that he he is very much the RFK Jr. of the aquatic biology content creation community.
I love the way you said that, because the people who love him will love that, and the people who don't will take it as a realistic comment.
Yeah, I don't think it's too harsh.
No, but I agree. But that's a line that sometimes, has been interesting as a YouTuber too. You being a fellow YouTuber and me not really getting to interact with that. But too many people in my life that are like another YouTuber is when something changes, or when a school has kind of changed. It happened when I was in archaeology, going to school for archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
Genetics came out all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden we went from the thing you should never speak of, with humans being Neanderthal, Denisovan, human, Homo sapien, Homo erectus, maybe Homo florensis and Homo heidelbergensis even. Like the fact that we could be slightly different literal species combined was like a very no, that's like that goes into some bad territory because of eugenics and Darwin, what do you call it? Social Darwinism. Yeah. That's like we can't go there. Well, fast forward 10 years, that's the cutting edge of what everyone's talking about, and it's very clearly the truth.
Yeah, and it just drives me crazy. People who are, looking into science from the outside, and maybe for the first time, think that science is resistant to new ideas in
completely
ways that it simply isn't. Yes, there's always a little bit of friction because everyone needs to have a filter up, because people are suggesting stupid wrong shit all the time, and you can't entertain every single crazy idea, right? But science has got a pretty fucking great track record of onboarding new information when it becomes apparent that it's true.
There you go.
And we have it's a process. It's an iterative process. It gets a little bit better. We get a little bit closer to the truth every single day, and the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the goddamn miracle that we are talking over,
right. Yeah.
the lasers internet, in the jungle right now,
Yeah. Well, and so I mean, I think that also, I want to talk a little bit about that, in that when you've jumped into the hobby of fish keeping, right? Mm-hmm. You've kind of, so I might be wrong. Maybe you had a couple tanks before all this, but did you have tanks say 5 years ago, or were you at a time in your life where you weren't really keeping anything?
No, because I had little kids and was moving around and stuff. So no, I had my own tanks in college for a little while. I became very, very interested in show quality goldfish.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me why. I honestly don't even really remember.
Well, you've got Gracie and
George and Gracie, yes, who've both unfortunately passed away from kidney issues. But
I'm sorry. Yeah, that happens with those fancy breeds.
That is what happens with them. Yeah. That is they ought not be.
I mean, honestly, I have such a torn feeling about that, and balloon rams and balloon mollies and things. There's some that I think are pretty stinking cute and stuff, or pearl or pear shaped goldfish and stuff like that. Pearl scale.
The pearl scales, yeah.
But at the same time, I also wonder how many people actually want a fish that's going to live 10 years. Not to be a jerk, but realistically, how many people, and that doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm just making an observation that a lot of people don't have an attention span for a fish longer than 2 or 3 years. Others have them for 20.
The fish is for you. It's just a fish. You're a person.
Right. Exactly.
Come on, let's get this straight, folks. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not you're not maintaining this tank because you're a good Samaritan who's taken this fish off the street. Like, all of this exists for you,
Yeah.
for your enjoyment, which is a legitimate end unto itself.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think what you're saying here is slightly more controversial in the aquarium, like hardcore aquarium community. And I think you're right.
Call me a humanist.
Yes. Yeah. Humanist. Sure. I would say the only difference is organizations like inter-university, inter-aquarium efforts to stop extinction of a literal species.
Oh, dude, of course.
Sure.
No, responsible fish keeping is the shit. It's what it's all about. No,
but at the end of the day, yes, I agree that home aquaria is almost always pretty much self-serving. Maybe you're going to entertain some family and friends and bring nature into their world. But tell me truly, anybody watching in the audience, any of you viewers, how many people have you sucked in? Honestly, I can say I've sucked in a lot of people like that are friends of in real life, face to face, that have been like, wow, I want to get one. But I've only sucked in 2 people long term. Everyone else has it for 2 or 3 years and then they're kind of over it. So I can't even say that zoo argument of like it's only for the conservation and to show, you know. So I agree with you completely on that one.
No. Anything that gets people interested in wildlife and in ecosystems is good, is a net good. Okay.
Sure.
Also, preserving species by simply keeping them alive in glass boxes around the world is also a good thing.
Sure.
So there's a lot that's good here, and it is important to do it as responsibly as possible. But at the end of the day, like, that fish is there for your enjoyment, and if you have a problem with it, you can euthanize it, right? Like, the goldfish is the only member of the family you're allowed to kill.
Yeah, you know,
for a reason.
Well,
because it's not a person.
Well, you're touching on something.
Now, do it humanely.
Again, you're touching on something that I had. Like, if you're talking about a betta, for instance, you could bring the fiery vengeance of 60,000 Redditors upon thee for saying such a thing. I've had people, 20,000 downvotes or something awful like that because of mystery snails and me saying I just huck them out and throw them and feed them to my fish. There are some people that I'm just going to say that's a little crazy.
That is completely insane. And with the bettas, do they know how many fish are culled
and
in order to arrive at
shipping
those in particular specimens that end up getting marketed? It's got to be like a 100-to-1 ratio or something, fish that are brought into existence to one that gets sold.
Oh yeah, it depends on the fish completely, but like with the fancy level ones,
the ones where there's gonna be lots of culling to try to isolate particularly spectacular individuals, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and like guppies, for instance, we're talking, maybe 500-to-1 for like a very standout show quality kind of, and that's where our lines come from. Originally, they were show quality at some point 50 years ago, and now they're just a common guppy. But so, Adam, I want to talk also. I've got a picture here I want to share with folks. We'll minimize us if I can bring this up full screen for a sec. Guys, this is Adam's work. Let's see. Can I zoom in on this little thing? Is it going to let me on? Well, I can do that. I don't know if that's any better for y'all. Is this gonna? Well,
I don't see any changes occurring, but people can, of course, lean into their screens.
Yeah, exactly. That's a bummer that they didn't. Where is? I thought there was a zoom function. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. So they can see it. But so what kind of fish do we have? Are those puffers? Pea puffers?
Yeah, those are dwarf puffers.
Yeah.
From the Malabar coast.
Very cool. And then what is that? Glossostigma in the mid ground there, or
You won't go through the plants. So let's see. In the background, we've got the Eliocharis viparia.
Yeah, I love
And
that tall grass.
so first of all, please everybody know this is a work in progress. This tank. This
Sure.
is
Yeah.
only
Sure.
a couple of months old, actually.
Wow.
And has recently taken a major downturn, unfortunately.
And clearly it's got CO2 though.
Yes, yeah. This was my first CO2 tank.
Okay. Wow.
So you got the Eliocharis viparia, which is the tall grassy
Yeah,
plant in the
wispy
back.
stuff. Love it.
I really wanted. I have another tank with some Valsinaria that is incredibly happy without CO2 and does great
Totally.
in my fish room. But I hate how it spreads via runners.
Yes.
Just because you end up really disrupting the other elements of the aquascape when you go to take those runners out.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about the Eliocharis viparia is that it propagates via a teeny tiny little daughter plant, I guess you'd call it, that pops up at the end, not at the base, but at the end of it. And it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And they kind of, they sort of junk up the tank, but they're also really easy to just scoop up with doing normal maintenance.
So are you just kind of trimming the top, 4 inches or something when it's time and then replanting?
Yeah, exactly, until the recent algae catastrophe, but we can get back to that.
Yeah, we can get to that. I mean, I have a friend, Tom Barr, who's a doctor of,
He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend. He is. And his answer to everything is just turn the CO2 all the way up. That's basically his answer to
my
everything.
drop catcher is it's a little yellow.
Okay.
Yeah. But
and
anyways.
So then what was this Rotala?
Yeah, you got the orange juice Rotala is
Nice.
the swoop down the middle there. And then to the left of that is Kambamba.
Yep.
That is really struggling. Not happy right now.
What's the hardness in this tank? Is it a bit hard?
Yeah, a little hard.
So Kabamba hates hates KH basically.
Yeah.
It also hates higher than about 7.4 pH. So I don't know where you're at, but that might be part of it.
No, I think it's the KH that's getting me. Also, I also have to think about temperature because this is all in a greenhouse, so it gets hot.
Oh, yeah, right.
But
so
anyway,
this is
what would is something feathery like that would be good for harder water? Can you think of anything?
Yeah, what a beautiful plant that's a mid-ground plant, Eriocalans. Now, they're a little more delicate, so I don't know if I'd recommend them right off the bat, but you can look up some of the Eriocalans, like Eriocala Vietnam or Eriocalan Polaris are 2 pretty good ones. Let's see if I can bring this back real quick. Whoa, well, that's not helpful. Sorry, guys. I don't know what everybody's seeing, but I'm seeing a jungle with no one on it. Hold on. All right.
There you are.
There I am. There we go. Okay, so we got us for a sec, and then let's see. Can we pull? I'll have to pull that back real quick. Sorry. Yeah, they just changed around all the features in the. Well, I guess. Okay, there we go. Now I feel a little better. I can see you a little bit, but I don't know why that was bugging me. Hi. We're together now. But yeah, so a feathery Eriocalan's a good one. I mean, you could also use like a dwarf hairgrass, but again, that kind of does the runner thing. There's another one that is stargrass. Now that one can get kind of tall, and the other thing it does that's a little weird is when it is unhappy and real beat up, it turns like a blackish gray rather than just yellow or something. It has this kind of bruising property. But I'll mail you 7 options that I think could work for you. What about limonphilia? I love those. I would recommend, especially since you're running CO2, the limonphilia, however you want to say it, the hippodroides.
No, you said it right. There's no option there. You say it again.
Oh, now I'm gonna
Limnophila.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that's correct.
It's all good.
No, I was wrong.
It's all good. And then, I would say that one's a really good one. And then there's
Which
also
one? Which species was it?
Hippodroides.
Okay.
Australis is also another good one. There's also.
Do you know there's an edible one?
Yes, so aromatica is one that we eat. And you know what? I had all these questions that I was like, I'm going to ask Adam these because I won't know what to talk about. But then I knew better of myself, and I was like, why am I holding my phone like a nervous school child? Like I don't have enough questions to ask. But no, there's Bacopa monieri, there's which has a lovely lemongrass taste. There's Limnophilia aromatica, which is like a lovely it's kind of just like a floral citrusy note almost with a hint of lemongrass. It smells better than it actually tastes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there are a number of I think they call the Bacopa hyssop, Hyssop, in other cultures. But in Vietnam, they like cook it in their pho all the time.
That's awesome. Kambamba is edible.
Yeah. There's a lot of pretty much anything with a tuber. Somebody's tried to eat it, and so there's a good chance that some culture eats it, and I almost did a whole episode on that. And this is kind of interesting because I thought, hey, that's a topic that maybe Adam would cover on his channel, because nobody on my channel cares about food and would watch that.
People would totally watch that video.
I don't know. I mean,
edible aquarium plants, you would do great with that video.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I looked last night at some of your videos in particular to see some that didn't do well count wise, like quote unquote not well. I just mean not as many views. They're still just as good of videos, in my opinion. But it's interesting because some of them I'm like, man, that would have hit it out of the park on my channel. Yet that's a hard sell on his channel, I bet. You know what I mean? Yeah, so sure. It is interesting what people are expecting and how that changes it. But okay, back to your tank. So yeah, you could do all that. I mean, the limnophilias, limnophilas, however you want, you can say it either way there. But yeah, however you want, those are all good options. There's also another that I can literally pick a leaf and show you. I owe a lot of people sending them things, but like saying, oh, I'll just send that over soon. But so this plant right here, this is limnophilia, Kabamba. Let's see if can I get a good light on it for a sec here, to show you the pinks and stuff. So it's like a purple, pink, orange. You'll see it in my tanks other times, but it's a beautiful little plant with really feathery leaves. Yeah. And this is similar to American or North American Kabamba, but it's from the Pantanal and the Guianan Shield, which means it has limestone and sandstone conglomerate mixed in with the water there. So it can withstand a lot harder conditions.
Yeah.
So that's another option. Let's see, how do I pop that back on the stage with all, is this? No. Come on.
What?
Sorry.
That's okay. I don't even know if I'm on. Oh, here I am.
Yeah, there you are. So then if I do this, then I do this. There we go. Okay. All right, we're back to that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now on the... In your aquarium, so then you've got another little triangle kind of leading. I like these Dutch scape shapes kind of that you're working with. So rising out of
I would call it a Dutch garden style.
Yeah.
Which if you're a real nerd, get excited, because I believe it's in next quarter's Aquatic Gardeners Association magazine.
Indeed.
There will be a lengthy feature by yours truly. My first print article in so long.
I heard about this from Jen.
Really? She told you about it?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, she's excited too,
Oh,
and
that's
so was
fantastic.
actually Luke Wong, also new too. But
Yeah. So anyway, so for anyone who doesn't know, Dutch style aquascaping is like this cool thing, but it's super gatekeepered,
very,
gate kept.
yeah, the gate is closed.
The gate is so close to being fully closed. And there's people who want to do sort of plant only concepts that are definitely sort of Dutch inspired, you know, built out of large homogeneous groups of species with maximized contrast between adjacent groups, right? But they don't want to hold to the Dutch style rules.
Well,
and so
can
people
we
have been
explain that a little bit more, just because a lot of people probably don't know, but you can't have like symmetry to certain degrees, and like an official Dutch rules are very thorough. Like
yeah.
Do you have a couple examples of like, do you know off the top of your head, do you remember any of that?
So sure. So for example, you only get one species per 10 centimeters of tank length, which in aquarium parlance is width.
So it's
right?
not too crowded in theory, or
well, I think it's because they think that that's when a plant species is presented in a group, in a homogeneous group, that is the size of group that will look the best, right?
Okay.
Because when you cram too many species into too small a tank, the texture doesn't look right? The texture becomes too coarse, or
the
you know,
scales.
right? The scale is
faint.
wrong, you know.
Yeah.
So my tank there has 3 too many species, I think, for its length, which is actually its width. So that's an example. Oh, hi, Lush Salty Aquariums.
So that is it Stephen or Stefan? I'm always bad with that. I think it's spelled Stefan, but you know, like that's how you phonetically.
That's okay. Also,
but
no
anyway.
one knows if it's Alexander or Alex or Al.
No
one knows.
Exactly. And I'm never gonna tell him. No, okay. It's you know, it's Alex is fine. I always introduce myself as Alexander when I used to have an art gallery and when I'd sell prints, and I'd always get more money. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, if I had a print that said Alex and one that said Alexander, it would easily get more money. Like, it was this dumb thing that my girlfriend at the time pointed out and was like, oh, it sounds more regal or something. And so I don't know if that was really that much of a truth, but I went with it for a while. And then, you know, nobody wants to say that long name, Alexander Williamson. That's so clunky.
What do your intimates call you?
Well, you don't even want to know. No, my wife usually says Alex, but my mom and dad will say Allie, which I don't even know where that came from. I hate it. But like, yeah, and then so my grandfather, who I'm named after, he was Scottish, and the short for Alexander in Scotland is Sandy. So I was called Sandy growing up by him.
Yeah.
So my dad's side of the family calls me Sandy.
That's great.
So yeah, it's a Scottish thing, I guess, you know. But yeah, anyways, so I have a lot of different names. Every time I say it's Alexander, by 20 minutes into a conversation, that it starts reverting to Alex in any company, whether it's a formal, like I'm presenting a paper, or whether I'm talking, or, you know, it doesn't matter, or whether I'm at a bar with, you know, people chatting. So I've just said, I just don't fight it anymore. But yeah.
Okay, the answer is Alex.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Sure.
All right.
Okay. Stefan, not Steven. Thank you for the shout out. There we go. Okay. So he's a Chicago-based, very well... that I shouldn't say it that way. I was going to say well endowed. A very well equipped.
You don't know.
And yeah, he might be. I might as well. Yeah, we'll start that rumor while we're at it. Aquarist, who's in Chicago at the moment, I believe. But yeah, we actually have a lot of AGA friends on the channel. A lot of them are very close knit in with the AGA. Also, Stephen P. 2003 is another big plant guy here. And then Luke Wong is another big old plant nerd. I mean, there's plenty in here. I could shout everyone out, but I just wanted to yell their names out real quick because they're people who are like, you know, I see them at the conferences and things like that. So anyhow, all right, I derailed that real good. Sorry about that, Adam.
No, you didn't.
So,
This is what people are here for. We're doing
yeah,
the
sure.
thing.
We're doing the thing.
This is it.
Yeah. So okay.
It's not going to get any better than this.
Right. Yeah. Us picking apart aquascapes. Yeah, you guys aren't going to get much better than this. Although I did have a question that was eating at me, and since we already kind of talked about goldfish, I'm going to bring this back. Like rewind for 1 sec because it was eating at me earlier. Did you spawn George and Gracie?
Oh, they tried.
I saw that they were trying, but did they ever?
Gracie tried.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes, Gracie, who turned out to be the male. When I bumped the heater and jacked them up 10 degrees Fahrenheit overnight, and
that'll do it. Yeah.
That did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they'll do the opposite and they'll not like that, but it can definitely spark it off with especially colder water or temperate fish. Okay, well, but no viable fry came of that.
No. I just have 10 million guppies.
Is that something
million.
you
so many
you see yourself
platies.
Enjoying though? I mean, I know you like in theory you had thought about aquaculture at some point, so that's why I was kind of curious if goldfish for me are like dirty, nasty things that just die and get infections and have scale problems. I do respect them immensely on one level, but it's not a level that I interact with. And
yeah, I know. I did my time with them. I
hear you.
I found that, I don't know. I think I was working at the library at Penn State and found a book, and
sure.
read it and got into it. There's something like that, and so I because I was in music school and I was a music composition student, I wrote a piece of music called Types of Goldfish, which is on my SoundCloud. If anyone wants to go listen to Types of Gold, I'm sure there's not a lot of songs on SoundCloud called Types of Goldfish, but there's 4 movements, I think, 4 or 5 movements.
Wow. I was listening to your kind of Tame Impala sounding music that you've been producing of yours. It's very impressive. I did not realize what as you call it, generalist or jack of all trades. I didn't know that you were into so many things. Like, you haven't been scoring your own videos, have you? Like, for
sure,
years?
I have.
You have?
Everything you've ever heard is something I wrote. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Wow. I didn't realize that. That's even more impressive, man. This guy.
One of the other places where parts of the internet where I'm like quote unquote famous, is this this Star Trek fan community.
Okay, which Star Trek is it? Next Generation?
Well, it started with Next Generation, so it's a podcast called The Greatest Generation that started off as a rewatch for Next Gen.
Yeah.
And then has grown and done everything.
Yeah.
But I've written their music for years.
Oh.
And so that's an entirely different corner of the internet where I'm famous for a completely different reason.
That's awesome, because I had the life of tattooing and of
I know you have many such stories.
Yeah, graphic design too. So it's the same thing where like my wife and I will be out and someone will be like, "Hey, it's Alex," and I'm like, "Oh crap, what do they know me from?" And they'll be like, "Oh, in high school I smoked out of an apple with you," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Or it'll be like, "I hate my tattoo." No, that's the awkward one. I just feared the tattooer that walks up and says, "Why'd you let me get this?" But that hasn't happened yet. So
you didn't fear people bringing up the high version of you? What?
No, that was for years always the joke, to the point where like I haven't done any of that in so long, but I still wear tie-dye and kind of have a hippie vibe. I guess my wife and I both do. She was a deadhead. She's 10 years older, so she traveled the whole country with Jerry Garcia when he was alive with the band for 3 seasons until he died. Yeah, as a teenager. So she's definitely still a big Fish and Grateful Dead fan and has the look to go with it, but yet her day job is totally corporate. And so, yes, it has been very weird a few times when we're out with people she knows. And Seattle is a big, small city in a way. And there will be people, especially when I went to the main feeder college kind of to the city of Seattle, as well as UW is Western Washington University. And people will be like, bro, you used to have the best sour diesel, this or that, you know? And I'm like, why would you yell that 15 years after the point, you know, across
that's just
Lake
how
Washington?
They know you.
Yeah, I know. So,
I mean,
and
it's like,
it's legal here too. So
the
I guess.
way that, I mean, when you become well known, when you become a micro celebrity on the internet, like you encounter this a lot where people will say all kinds of very strange things to you when they talk to you.
Yeah.
And you wonder, oh my God, what is wrong with you? Or is this aggressive in some way? And I've come to understand through the years that so many of those very weird things that they say, they're just sort of different, frustrated versions of, hey, I know this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just people, they're just trying to say, oh, this is the guy, you know? But they don't know how to say that, or they feel like they can't just say that, so they have to say something else, and it ends up coming across in a way that maybe they don't intend. But like, it's like, if anyone ever like I'll comment on aquascaping content, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And someone will be like, this is a weird collab. What's Adam Ragusea doing here? And I'm always like, if you don't know me well enough to know that this is like my thing that I do.
Yeah, that you've got a pond. Can you tell people real quick, like all the different? You are doing quite a few projects.
I've got a koi pond, and I have a greenhouse with a whole bunch of tanks and container ponds in it.
And rice fish and a crab colony with a mangrove tree thing, and I mean, you're doing a lot. Yeah,
I have fun things. I have a little cabinet of wonders where I run little experiments. But anyways, it's just I'm all, people will do that. I'll be like, it's not that I'm not mad that you don't know me. I'm mad that you're acting like you know me.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's fine that you don't know me, or that I'm, you know, or that it's like, you know, you're like a child who is seeing their teacher at the grocery store.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, you're a human who exists outside of your the way in which I use you.
Yes. You do something other than cook food all day?
Right, exactly. So I don't know, but I obviously, I guess I do still get a little bit butthurt about it, but it's like I try to remind myself that I think that so much of that is just people trying to say, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Hey, I know that guy is a perfectly benign communication.
Well, and it's like also like, hey, I empathize with you, but I can't say that because culturally I haven't been trained, or it's not a norm in our culture to be like,
sure, it can be that.
You're a human, I'm a human, let's touch hands, like, you know, shaking like that. Okay, shaking hands is about all we do, you know, or whatever. If you know someone well, you give them a hug or whatever. But you know, it is kind of it's just the parasocial relationship's very odd, especially with like my community is tight knit enough that I've met many of them if they're geographically close. And so when I get on the chat, half of them are like people that I've like hugged and hung out with for 2 or 3 days at a show.
That's lovely.
And that really means a lot to me because I don't have a social life because I'm so tangled up in the fish. Yeah, well, there's that too. But yeah. And then somebody said, how did this collab come to be? He watched the show, I watched his show, and we got it together. And it's not weird. That we just covered that, man. It's not weird.
No, it really isn't. Like you are the me of your space. I am the you of my space. Like, and so it really ought not be surprising to anyone. So let's move on. Asked and answered.
Yeah.
You know.
Somebody said I'd love to hear a song because I'm known for terrible off-key singing. because I got hit for copyright not one time, several times from live streams where they like take down the stream immediately, you know.
Oh, so you try to scramble it by...
So I would sing over, you know, or there'd be a cover version. You know, I tried a number of different things just because music is, my wife and I, you can't come to our house without music playing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just how we live, basically. Or somebody
so,
playing
like,
music in our...
One of the weird ironies of my career is that it's like, instead of getting famous on the internet for talking about the thing I'm actually trained on, which is music, I got famous on the internet talking about this thing that I know nothing about and had to learn on the job about, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I had gotten famous on the internet talking about music, it would have been so much harder to make a living, you know?
Yeah.
Because
like,
so it's like the extent to which I dodged a bullet there is like nuts.
Totally. Wow. Yeah, that's wild when you think about how hard that would have been on. Okay, so let's finish up so we don't leave the people. Sorry, it's my fault because I always go on these tangents, and you know we both love a good tangent, but I'm derailing everything. So let's finish up. Okay,
can I tell you something?
Yeah.
So like my friends who Ben and Adam who do that Star Trek podcast I was talking about, that's like really popular and has been very popular for a long time. Like it's in sort of an earlier internet thing.
No, I know of it.
So, you know, one of the things that they said to me very early on, one of them said to me is, we think that the hang is the thing. Right?
Yeah.
Because everyone, you know, people in my world, NPR producers, right? We're like these new podcasts, like they talk about their fucking breakfast for 20 minutes before they get to the actual point.
Yeah.
And what Ben and Adam were like was like, I think that they're here for the breakfast talk. Like,
right. We're just all friends.
Like, yeah. So the hang is the thing. So you're not on a tangent. This is the main route. The people that are here, this is what they want.
That, you know, I hear you on that one. And I will say though, in the fish world, I think we have some pretty OCD, maybe on the spectrum, and I don't mean that in any sort of positive, negative, whatever. I just mean that in an indifferent way. I've had a lot of people tell me, hey, I happen to be autistic or this or that. And that's how I got into the hobby, is just I find it so compelling, you know? Mm-hmm. Like model trains is another hobby that happens to have a lot, or trains in general. But because of that, when I talk about a subject and I hit 9 out of 10 points that were said to be discussed, I do definitely, I bet I hear a larger percentage of people being like, what happened to number 9? Than normal. And so
let's rapid fire
it. So yeah, I'm like, let's get this, the foreground that everyone can see here. Is that Monte Carlo? Is that
it's Monte Carlo in the front?
Smart. Have you tried dwarf baby tears or baby tears? They're a nightmare to me, but
no, I have, my carpet of choice up to this point has been dwarf hairgrass, because that does pretty good without CO2.
It's great,
or can do pretty well without CO2, especially if you dry start it. I've found is really the key. But anyways, so yeah, this is my first CO2 carpet. Monte Carlo it was, and so there it is. There's a little above it there. There's some of the Sterogyne repens, right?
Yep. Okay.
Then there's there's a street growing of Lobelia cardinalis.
Is that up here? Or is it back in? Can you see my mouse even?
No, I cannot see the mouse.
Well, that
it is the second plant from the right.
Okay, yeah.
And then on the far right is an Amazon sword that's really struggling.
Yeah. So did you plant that? Is that one Echinodoros, or are there 2 or 3 in the corner there? There's the Amazon.
3.
Okay.
Why?
I'm just curious because, you know, sometimes they stay short, but they tend to put out pretty good roots sometimes. And so they may also be kind of tangling up with each other. And
so you think I should thin them out?
I might just pick a different plant or pick like a low growing, like one Prince Kleiner sword or like a teddy bear or like some sort of like with a red hue to it that when you, the new leaves have like a nice red hue, you could have that kind of be like a low canopy or mid canopy kind of flopping over. And then you could do something interesting with another mid ground, two things to
Well,
offset
Dutch
it.
rules say no reds at the edges. So.
Oh, right. I forgot. You're sticking to the Dutch thing all the way.
No, I'm not actually. So one of the ways in which this is not Dutch is that it's actually not meant to be viewed from dead on.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't normally sit like this.
Yeah,
I'm normally
okay.
standing up and looking down at it I'm looking down to my left at it. So that's the view angle that I'm trying to cultivate.
Okay.
And so what you can see better from that view is there's a tiger lotus behind the lobelia,
Okay.
which you can see in the picture.
Yeah, I can see a bit of it now that you say that. And that
then what you can also see that is my favorite part of this, actually, you just can't, this picture doesn't do it justice, but behind the orange juice rotala, you'll see a green that is, I forget what it's called, but it's that teeny tiny crypt.
Lucia?
Just the micro crypt, whatever it is. Like,
okay.
It grows it carpets, right? It's a carpeting crypt, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I wanted to do is like, I wanted to have a landscape where it's like, it looks as though it doesn't just go predictably short foreground, middle, midground, tall background. I wanted there to be something that's shorter, that's behind something, right? To suggest like a meadow over this rise,
right, like a valley
world that you can poke your head around into, right?
Sure.
And it looks really cool if you're standing in the spot, which
where you can kind of see.
It's easy for me to say, having not sent that picture. So
yeah, well,
it's the fish that I swear I caught.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I'll just say all my tanks, they're really incredible in person. They just look kind of crappy from here.
Well, they look pretty good, and also like, this kind of video compression is not kind to aquariums.
No, that is really true. Actually, like I try to tell people a lot of times, like, oh, I swear these fish have a real beautiful iridescent sparkle, and you're just like, nah, never mind. Yeah. I'll take pictures and put them up if I can. And even then, you got to get like one of the max gloss and one of like matte. And then you're like, it's somewhere in between those two. Yeah. So yeah, kind of a wild world. Well, I know we're coming up on the hour here, but I mean, you're always welcome on the channel. And I guess I wanted to know, like, what are you looking forward to in the hobby? I mean, clearly you're doing the aquatic gardening, you're writing for the AGA, you're kind of stepping onto my turf, Adam. I mean,
sorry, buddy.
Like, I mean, we're gonna have to rumble or something. Like, we'll have to have a showdown where we like, we'll yell out Latin names of plants, sure. and then we'll both be corrected by whoever's at AGA. Actually, no. I'm excited. Are you planning on going to Sacramento? Do you know?
Oh, of course. Hell yeah.
Awesome. I didn't make Raleigh.
I want my local club, the East Tennessee Aquatic Association, to try to bid for the next one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be poking around trying to make that happen.
That's really cool. So I plan on being there as well. The next AGA. I miss Raleigh, but I've been to the last 3 or
Raleigh was amazing.
3 or 4 I've been to, but yeah, I was bummed to miss that. But yeah, again, it's interesting to me that you decided to do the Dutch scaping, which is because, I mean, you could argue that Iwagumi is an older style in that bonsai and gardening has its roots way farther back. But Dutch,
that's an interesting argument. Yeah,
but Dutch is.
I don't think that holds water though.
Well,
so to speak.
Yeah, it's an interesting one in that Amano started off in the 80s replicating nature shots like what he'd get with his camera and not caring so much about those rules. It was later when he realized there's no way to put nature in a box truly, that he wanted to bring the maximum essence of nature kind of into the box. And that's when he started leaning, if you read his, books and stuff, this is my opinion and kind of what he states, that he started leaning on more like, okay, well, the essences of, the Iwagumi look is this and that and the other. And he did Iwagumi stuff, but usually he did kind of a fusion of things. And so, but a lot of that comes from Zen Buddhist rock gardening.
Of course, yeah.
And but
it wasn't an aquarium 5,000 years ago is the thing.
It was in ponds though. And the idea of like a big stone and then a second stone that's half the mass of the other island stone in the pond.
Like aquatic rock gardens, like submerged rocks?
Like koi. Yeah.
Oh,
koi
cool.
Garden.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
So,
this is a stronger argument. Yeah.
So, because actually koi came from China originally, and then the Japanese made them what you'd think of. Like they were just kind of some random gold carp species that they were toying with, and then the Japanese got a hold of them. Were like, we're gonna do what you did to goldfish with these big beauties. But anyway, so but if people don't know, Dutch gardening has been around since like the Art Deco era. People have been toying with like underwater tanks, and a lot of times they look like little kind of like lead lined or like whatever they're brass framed or cast iron framed tanks that kind of look like a little house or a terrarium or something. And then they'd put the plants and the scape kind of in this little hutch type thing. And that's back at the turn of the century and before. And then moving forward, it was more of an Art Deco vibe to the whole thing. But I find it interesting that you kind of honed on one thing though that goes way back. You found something with a lot of meat and potatoes behind the. Oh yeah, I just think
surface. I think that the proper. I mean, I think the proper Dutch scapes that we've been implicitly making fun of, are awesome. I love them. They're so charmingly old fashioned in a way that is like a restaurant from the 1930s, that's like Chateaubriand for two. With Béarnaise sauce. Right. There's a lobster tank near the entrance. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh
right?
Yeah.
Right. Like it's that kind of vibe in an aquarium.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. But I mean, it's amazing where we've been able to take it now. You know what I mean? With the diversity of plants, the CO2, the FERTs, and understanding the things we know now. Mm-hmm. It's really amplified to the next level. The kind of colors you can, really like Dennis or Wong is how most people know him, but the 2 Hour Aquarist, man, you can see.
I met him in Raleigh. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, he commented that on my Facebook today. That's so funny that you said that. He was like, "Hey, I met him at ADA or at AGA." He didn't say anything about it being bad or good or anything. He literally just said those exact same words to me.
Yeah, we sat on a bus together.
Yeah.
But I didn't think because I wasn't famous there, right? He was famous there, so I knew who he was, but I didn't think he knew who I was or
I don't know if he did until after, but after he definitely did. But anyways, it's just funny that he doesn't write me a whole lot. He's a man of few words unless we're really geeking out about something. He's a busy dude.
He's a big deal. He's big shakes.
Busy dude who's been making moves with his company and stuff too. But he is one of the people that I always look to online, as well as Tom Barr and a few others. But for a lot of the cool colors and plants that are out there these days, it's just wild the palette you have to work with if you're really willing to do that. At some point, I feel like you lose the nature and the you're never going to see a rainbow Technicolor collage in nature of fresh water quite like that.
It's so artificial. It's so charmingly artificial, and it's and I really like topiaries and formal English gardens and stuff. I love that fakey shit.
Do you like the model tanks, like the ones where they have the little fake bonsai tree, and a little dock with a little porcelain man fishing. You know, like, will you go that far, or is that a little
No,
much?
no, 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 no. I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Okay.
No, there are things I don't like.
Okay.
Yes. As Mr. Burns said, I'm not a critic, but I know what I hate.
I like that you quote The Simpsons a lot. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, what were we saying? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So, Dutch. No. I mean, Iwagumi is probably my favorite to look at.
Okay.
You know, but again, because my fish room is this greenhouse, maybe I can give it a shot one day. But it's just like algae control is generally a particular problem with Iwagumis.
Yes.
And in an environment that it gets as much sun and heat as that, I think it would be pretty challenging.
That's
but
true.
maybe I might get good enough. I've thought about doing it under the shelf, like kind of almost on the floor of the greenhouse.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, sometimes you can do it with enough light, enough CO2, and like really scale back the ferts. You can actually grow certain plants pretty well just with the ambient light. Like, even though it's ambient, you don't even need a light on the tank because you've got such
I wouldn't. I don't think I would
light.
need a light. Yeah, for sure. No.
They call, like, what do they call it? Low light, high tech, which is a head spinning term. But yeah, well, I look forward.
There's an Iwagumi. There's a Takashi Amano Iwagumi in the ADA gallery. That people. It's a big. It's one of his U shapes, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's got the substrate is piled up really, really high on both ends
to
Japan? The back. Yeah, and at the ADA gallery in Japan. It's like when you walk into the main gallery, it's one of the first ones you see.
I'd love to see it someday.
And it's like it's so multi-tiered and like it funnels you down. It's kind of, it reminds you of the Grand Canyon where there's like there's sort of a middle ground where there's like that seems like it's the bottom, and then there's like you go a little bit further and there's a chasm.
Right.
And he reserves the really, really short carpeting plants for the chasm. So
the Iguazu 2009 purple.
It's so freaking beautiful. I love that kind of stuff. But I also think that I need to start, because again, I'm only on my second CO2 tank, right? So I'm very early on my journey. I think the next thing I'd like to try with CO2 would just be a straight up Amano style nature tank. Get that core like driftwood with the like micro swords that are radiating out from the center of it type look. You know what I'm talking about?
Totally.
Which is, they're epiphytes, right? You just jam them in the driftwood and they just do that. They just radiate out like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Super cool. The Eriocalans do that too, where they just, shoo. It's beautiful. I mean, you've seen it probably with your crab setup where you've got some emergent plants, but like, I love the world, obviously, both my tanks. I've got a whole bunch of plants sticking up and out because you just see shapes and textures and colors that you like. You're like, how is that the same plant as like 4 inches lower? You know? And then you learn about what it took to survive in air versus underwater.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very fascinating how organisms as a whole, like there's a broad range of ways they had to adapt, and then there's a smaller selection of interesting ways that they could have adapted, and they did, Well, I don't want to eat up all your time. I know you got family and videos and all that stuff, but I do want to say that you're always welcome here. I do want to say Adam Ragusea, did I say that right? I'm always fearful. So that's your channel too, though, right? So Adam Ragusea, somebody had mentioned earlier, like, how do we find this guy? Because is his name Goose? And here, we can put a link down if anybody needs it. But I'll put a link in the description right after I'm done here, guys. So all his links will be there. But you would literally find him if you look for Adam and food on YouTube. This guy's a big deal in the food sphere. But like I said, we're our aquarium sphere. So I get that Sometimes the never the two shall cross. But you guys, we didn't cover it today, and that's why I'd love to talk even more in the future. But things like, you know, like the anthocyanins and the pH and the changing color in blueberries being simmered versus how actual shrimp change their color depending on the pH in the water and the anthocyanins. There's only one thing in nature, anthocyanins or structural crystals, that make creatures blue, and it makes food blue the same way too. You know, so there's so many fascinating things that I hear.
You keep going. Preach.
Well, okay. Well, and so there's just things like in my some notes that I had of just like thinking the last few days. I was like, you know, there's a lot of different interesting stuff out there that crosses over, and you talking about like us talking about the edible food, for instance, edible plants in the hobby. There's also medicinal plants in the hobby. There's also allelopathic or allelopathic, however you want to say that, warfare, which is the chemical fights that go on in nature. Now, I've heard a pretty pragmatic view from Tom Barr, which is like, yeah, good luck ever trying to put two plants together in a certain, like there's 15 grams of this plant and 10 of that, and it's under these conditions with this much potassium and this, like, it's so specific what you would have to set up to set the battlefield for plants that unless there's some really overwhelming effect, like we know duckweed melts several crip species. We know that Valsinaria and duckweed can kill each other. These are like a few of the ones that are just like so overwhelming that it's been noticed at this point. It's been noted by a lot of people. It's not always, but it happens. I was gonna
frequently. Say my Valsinaria and the duckweed seem to be just fine together.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's not always. I don't know if the hardness of the water is one of the factors, or you know, but it's interesting stuff nonetheless, in my opinion, and also just how you went into in your video on rice fish. You go into the culture of like how the terracing and lowland rice methodology that spread from Sri Lanka to Bangladesh to all across Thailand and into Vietnam, Asia. That change is when we also start seeing, now we've done the genetic work on half-beak, rice fish, bettas, gouramis, and we see like a pseudo domestication sweeping across Asia in all those and snakehead species. In that, basically,
there can't be the word pseudo domestication can't be the right word, right?
Right.
It's unintentional domestication.
Exactly. Well, so technically domestication, I go over this. There's an hour-long video I did on betta domestication that's pretty in-depth about that. But DMR,
is that the one you got in trouble for?
Amongst many others. But yes, anything I do on bettas, I get in trouble because of their other name. The name that they were called by forever.
Don't mention it.
I won't mention it. But also showing pictures.
Siamese unaliving fish.
Yeah, exactly. And like when I show pictures of like Thai markets, for some reason there's videos of people live filming in modern day showing it, but I can't show a picture from 1880 and like so I don't know how that triggers it. But yes, in the history of the domestication of bettas, basically they have asserted that through the DNA on the mother's side, the mitochondrial DNA, that there's 1,600 years minimum, if not maybe 2,400 years of betta domestication with the betta splendens and Imbolus and Siam ornamentalis. I mean, there's 7 species that are all interchangeably interbreedable. And it's kind of interesting, though. Half-beaks now they're looking at as another one. And one of the earliest things they were used for, other than I'm sure just bug control, was gambling. People just loved gambling all throughout time. And they didn't do it to finish each other off. They did it till one got tired out and went to its corner, basically, of the bowl. That way they could use its line, at least, or spawn it again. And so but the whole backstory, the way you tell a story, I'd love to see us both do like, I don't know, gouramis or catfish or something, you know, that has kind of a lot of angles to it, and just be like, okay, all right, let's huddle at Adam. And what did you find out? What did I find? Like, what do you think the interesting story is? You know, yeah, I'd just be curious about that someday. But I have lots of swirling ideas about just I like the way other people in the hobby. I like the way you got when someone new to the modern internet hobby, where there's the YouTube world, there's the magazines, there's the Amano and the higher classy books and publications, and you know, video world. But you can enter at lots of places, anywhere from like Walmart and PetSmart all the way up to ADA boutique shops.
Uh-huh.
And I just find it very interesting when another person who is like this generalist, as you coined it, but yeah, just someone who loves multidisciplinary learning and hobbies. I love hearing your take on it. So, I mean, I just go to your channel for that, obviously, and that's what other people should do. But once in a while, I wonder, like, what could we come together and have to say that maybe apart we would miss. So, I guess cheers to that in the future.
Sure.
And thank you for coming on today. And also, you know, we've had a pretty intimate crowd tonight. A lot of good folks asking questions, and I know I've neglected you, chat. I'm sorry. But I appreciate you all so much. And if you have questions for Adam, or if you just have general questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll try to get, you know, anything that I know. And maybe Adam can swing back by another time if he has.
We can hang another time, buddy.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Adam.
Sure thing.
I'll let you go, and I'm gonna wrap it up here too. But do you? I like to give a guest the last words. I feel like I was just so mumbly mouth there at the end, anyways. That like, here, you have the last words, Adam. What would you implore people to go out and check out, or what's something that you've enjoyed most recently about the hobby, or about, you know, the world of aquariums and things that you'd like to just mention or shout out? Anything remotely aquarium related, I'd love to hear what you tell my viewers. It can be trivia, it could be, oh, you got to check this out, this is a crazy story, just Google it, or whatever.
There's a seafood restaurant in Knoxville, Tennessee that I'm not going to name.
Okay.
I've since come to learn it was a junior employee, a very junior employee, made a mistake and put a box of live crawfish into the dumpster. And then, as a result, the next morning, when myself and my wife were dropping off our dog at the dog daycare in the morning rain, the car park, as the Brits would say, was crawling with crayfish. And I took one home, and I put him in my trough, and those Louisiana crawfish, they're dicks. They're
yeah, they're not. Those
aggressive.
mud bugs are aggressive, and they like dig holes in your yard and just come out like these little battle tanks.
Yeah. Well, serves him right, because he ended up escaping and killing himself. So, but
as crabs,
he had a better end than he would have had in the parking lot. So
at least they were domestic too, like not, you know, something from, I don't know, New Zealand or some real, you know, faraway place that could cause a lot of havoc.
Indeed. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you like crayfish and you'd like to keep them, you might consider going to your local seafood restaurant, because they'll have them live and you can get a lot for a very, very cheap price. And as long as you could keep a cover on, you know, whatever little container pond situation or aquarium you do, they'll be just fine. They do great.
That's great advice. I would never have thought to go hit up, you know, the Laotian restaurant down the street. But I
Yeah.
bet you're right. I bet they will have that and any number of, you know, that's how we got most of the snake heads and things are at markets, selling them here. And a lot of times they're selling them as like bettas, you know, like macrostoma betta, young. Thank you. That's a great note to end on, as I love random trivia and little bits of info. So thank you so much, Adam. Guys, go check out Adam's channel if you haven't. And he's doing all sorts of things over there. So whether you like food or music or fish and aquariums and aquaculture, I'm hoping you do more aquaculture, honestly. So I can learn about it too, you know.
You should do the edible aquatic plants thing. Do the Lymphalia aromatica one.
I had like, these are all these half-cooked ideas that I have, like, you know, an outline for, and then I just like sit on it and I'm like, well, I don't you know, I get self-conscious, but you've given me the confidence that, okay, it's going to happen now. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a wonderful evening yourself, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much, Adam.
Sure thing. Feel better, buddy. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All righty. All right, guys. So as I said, I'm sorry. I've abandoned my child. I've left the chat pretty bad, and I know I said you guys could ask questions. I left though a thing in the chat for members 2 days ago and for everyone last night. If you had questions, you could leave them. So try to check the community post if you're in the future, if I've got something coming up. And I tried to mention a few times in live streams that Adam would be coming on. We have some other really exciting guests coming up in the near future, which I'm excited about. Some ichthyologists and things like that. Joe Cutler, who is, and right now he's on the Zambezi River at the bottom of the Zambezi Falls, finding fish that no one's ever seen before. He's got a Starlink, and hopefully we're going to link up with him for sure when he gets back. If not, then. And then we also have a Sulawesi preservation expert from the Netherlands and the Czech Republic, two different people though, that work together. And they are friends of Chris Lukoff's, the Shrimp King, and they will be talking about Lake Mateo and Poso on the island of Sulawesi, and the 66 species of freshwater shrimp that are endangered, critically endangered, or extinct. And the last 10 years, people have been letting flower horns, ornamental flower horns go, as well as tilapia and other fish in this chain of lakes and flooded swamps and wetlands. And they have a really pretty organized effort right now to try to turn back the tide of these invasive, very harmful creatures that are getting let go, with the beautiful, I mean, 64 species of shrimp going back 11 million years in this lake system could be at risk, as well as all the little rice fish that are critically endangered, if not extinct, things like that. But we're going to be talking about the conservation, the preservation when I get them on as well. So we've got some exciting stuff to talk about. And, you know, I am working on, you know, just getting back up, making videos, doing live streams. Still not feeling 100% myself, but each day, hopefully we're getting closer to something. I'm going to have a cast put on next week, and so that will limit my driving and stuff for a few weeks, as well as may mess up with the scheduling of things on the channel a little bit, but I'll try to let you guys know when I know. But forgive me if anything's a little unpredictable and like last minute. Usually Tuesdays and Fridays, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, something like that, is when we try to be doing the live streams. And I do want to switch up from Tuesdays to do it another day, just because we seem to have a low number on Tuesdays early in that time. And a lot of people are like, can you add a day at a different time that would work better? So I'll probably put up a poll in the community section that I'd love to hear from you guys on in the next week or so, of what works best for doing another time other than obviously Friday evening for streams. After all that being said, I'm not going to jump into the chat right now, but I do want to thank you guys oh so much for being here. I know who's in here. I know y'all are the incredible folks that are always in here. I see the names. I've seen y'all scrolling by the whole time. And it really means a lot that all y'all are here. The next chat will probably be just hanging out, chatting. We can kind of debrief this one also. Or if you have follow-ups, I can always resubmit them to Adam, as it were. What a small world. He liked my videos. I liked his. You know, you never know what you're going to get. So as always, my friends, take care of your fishies, of your plants, of your kitties, and of your pants. No, not your pants. Well, yeah, take care of your pants too. But take care of your family and friends. And obviously, take care of yourself. Because if you don't do that, you can't do those other things. And you can't enjoy those other things. All right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. And we're gonna leave it on the note that people say I'm crazy, watching my life away. Well, they tell me there's no mercy, and they tell me there's no point in trying. Well, look at me, kind of. Never mind. I messed it up. I can't do it. But I was gonna do "Watching the Wheels Go Round" by John Lennon, and I just realized I have the behind the uncut version from the studio where he starts with a different verse than the normal song, and I'm now completely turned around. On that note, let's just end it on kumbaya. All right, kumbaya, guys. Have a good night. Yay, the singing. Well, let's see if we can get the cat over. All right, let's see here. She was an American cat, raised off of catnip. She couldn't help but think that one day her little black and white dots wear it. After all, she was on the mantle. She tried to jump on the aquarium. She tried to eat it. Then she jumped off it all. Now she is laying in the window watching birds and fish and the cars going by. Cat. All right. Oh, yeah. Take it easy, Sumi. Make it last all night. She was an American cat. All right, guys. That's all you get. That's all the bad singing you get for the night. For those of you who enjoy the terror. All right, you guys, take care. I'll see you later. Bye.